Hi guys, I just made this video, which unfortunately, it's fine. It just, now I can't erase all these scribbles for some reason. So, if this note's a little bit ugly, um, please forgive me. I made a video and it disappeared on me. I don't know where it is. So anyway, let's go through this real quick. How do you find some of the questions, how do you do some of the questions here on 5.6, 5.61 through 5, and number 7? You got to find the slope for the first question. Take any 2 points you want. I took the points 211 and the point 0.06 and made them P2 and P1, and then we're going to do delta y over delta x to find m, which is the slope. And to do that, you go y2 subtract y1, so this is y2 because that I call that P2. You can call this P1 if you want, it won't matter. As long as you're consistent, your answers will be the same. So that's 11 subtract 6 for the top here, 11 subtract 6. On the bottom, you go 2 subtract 0, and then you end up with 5 over 2 as your slope. What is your intercept, your b? Take it right off the graph, and it's 6. So then your equation, which is y equals mx plus b, y equals 5/2 x plus 6. That's a 6. Okay, and if you don't believe me that it works no matter what, I went over here and I took two other points. I took the point -2, 1, which is on the graph, and I took the point 416, and I call this P1, I call this P2, and then that makes this X1 and Y1, and that makes this X2 and Y2. So when you look for M here, you go 16 subtract 1. 16 subtract 1 is 15. That's a 15. And then when you do the bottom, it's going to be X2. So 4 subtract -2. Be careful with that. So 4 subtract -2 is 4 plus 2 is 6. So you have 15 over 6, which is 5/2. And that's what we got over here. So it's the same thing. Okay, so regardless of how you do it, you get the same answer as long as you don't break any rules. Same thing with 2a. Just go ahead and take your points, and you get 4/3 as your slope, and then you get -1 as your b. Sub it into the equation, and there's your equation. In 3, a little more work. You're going to come up with a table of values. I'm just going to do the first one where it's 2x plus 1 is the equation. So what you do is you set this up like this, and you have your x values 0, 1, 2. You can use any numbers you want, but I'll use 0, 1, 2, and then you sub each of these into the equation 2x plus 1. So instead of 2x plus 1, it's 2. If x is 0, it's 2 times 0 plus 1. And 2 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1. And then instead of 2x plus 1, it's 2 times 1 plus 1, which is 3. And then here it's 2 times 2 plus 1, which is 5. So my points are 0, 1, 1, 3, 2, 5. I plot those points. This is a bit ugly. Okay, it would be a lot nicer if this was done on graph paper, but we don't have graph paper because we don't. And so we're going to plot the points right here. Here's 0, 1, 1, 3, and 2, 5. And when you plot those points like that, you make a straight line. And then if you want to find your slope, you have your rise over your run. You go up 2 and over 1. There's your slope, 2 over 1, 2. That's your rise over run. Okay, same thing for points that are already graphed or already on a table. So number 4, the points are 0, 2, 1, 5, 2, 8, blah, 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 keeps going. And you plot those points 0, 2, 1, 5, 2, 8. And then if I said what's the slope here, you can get that right off the graph and say my slope would be up 3 over 2, rise 3, run, up 3 over 1. So my rise is 3, my run is 1. And my slope would be 3 over 1, which is 3. You can also go ahead and make these points, do this algebraically. Call this P2. Call this P, what is working? Call this P2 and call this P1. So 5, 1, 1, 5, sorry, is P2. And 0, 2 is P1. And then you go 5 subtract 2 on top. 1 subtract 0 on the bottom, delta y over delta x to get 3 over 1, which is also 3. What's your b? What's your intercept? Your intercept is the y-intercept right from the graph is 2, and your equation then is y equals 3x plus 2. Okay, question number 5, you do the same thing. Okay, so you go ahead and you do the same thing, a little bit more work for some of that stuff. but not much more. And then you get y as 5/2, and so I'll show you my work here if you want to take a look at it. And then b is 16. The last question is a word problem. You're getting in the cab and it charges you $5 off the bat and 0.75 every half kilometer. Okay, so when you make a table of values here, you have 0 and 5. So that's really ugly here, guys. You know what, let me erase that. Start again. So let me make a table of values for this here. Okay, so if I'm going to make a table of values, I have the distance traveled and the cost, and if I just get in the cab, it's $5. If I go half a kilometer, so this is a bit tricky. Half a kilometer, it's 75 cents more, so it's $5.75. And if I go half a kilometer more, I'm up to a kilometer, and it'll be $6.50. So then I have points here, 0. Oh, I knocked off my what did I do? I knocked off my my axis. Okay, so my first point is 0, 5, so over nothing up 5, and then over 0.5 up to 5.75, and the last point is 6.5. So those are my points there. If I wanted to get my slope, I can take any 2 points. I don't like this decimal here, so I'm going to take this point and this point and go 650 subtract 5 on top to get 1.5, and on the bottom I'll go 1 subtract 0 to get 1, and my slope is 1.5 in that question. So if I wanted to write an equation, it would be the cost is 1.5 d plus 5. So your fixed cost here, your variable cost here, that's your slope. And because it doesn't go, this graph doesn't go through 0, 0, it doesn't include 0, 0 here, and doesn't go through 0, 0, it is partial, not direct variation. Okay, and that's it. This last little part here was from a